Chassidic gems on Parshas Tzav. It says in the Torah, Zais Torahs ha'olah. This is the law of the olah sacrifice, where the complete offering is placed on the flame. That's the korban olah. That's the simple. The Chassidic Torah tells us the secret. How a person can elevate himself spiritually. That the main spiritual elevation of the person, olah, is through Torah only. You can't elevate yourself through other ways. The olah, the way to make aliyah, to have spiritual elevation, is only through Torah. Continuing with Chassidic gems on Parshas Tzav, the Torah says, Zais Torah ha'olah, he ha'olah al moikdo, which is translated to mean, it is the elevation offering that stays on the flame, on the mizbeach all night. He ha'olah al moikdo, al mizbeach kol halayla. He ha'olah. That's the simple. That the offering remains on the stake, on the flame, on the mizbeach all night. That's the simple. The Chassidic Torah translate He ha'olah al moikdo, that He ha'olah? Who ha'olah? They learn it that the person himself who elevates himself through Torah, he himself is the olah. He, who ha'olah, even though it says he ha'olah, who ha'olah, he is elevated so much that he himself is considered like a korban olah. One who has a drive to grow in Torah, he himself is considered like a korban to Hashem. Continuing with Chassidic gems on Parshas Tzav, on the same pasuk, He ha'olah al moikdo, which says that it is the elevation offering that stays on the flame, or on the mizbeach all night. That's the simple. The Chassidic Torah are translating this time that which is the Torah which elevates the person higher and higher and higher, when he learns it al moikdo, meaning with heat, with islavus, with enthusiasm. When a person learns Torah that way, it can elevate him instead of just learning it like a cold duck. No, he learns it with enthusiasm, with heat. That Torah can elevate him to the greatest heights. Continuing with Chassidic gems on Parshas Tzav, again the same pasuk. They really go to town on this pasuk. Zos Torah ha'olah al moikdo. If somebody thinks that he made it already, who ha'olah? Who again? Who? Even though it says he ha'olah. If somebody thinks he made it, that's the Muhammad Ali pshat. I'm the greatest. I made it. Somebody thinks he made it. He has to burn out that thought, which is puzzle, which is a disqualified thought. That's what the meaning of moikdo means. He has to burn it out of him, because nobody is ever finished. Nobody is ever finished, because it's Mayim She'en Lohem Soif. He has to constantly grow. A whole life he has to grow in Torah. In fact, the Chassidic Torah also translate, why is when a person dies, it's called a nifta, because he becomes pata from battling the Yetzer Hara, from growing. The Yetzer Hara doesn't want to let him grow, but he's pata from fighting the Yetzer Hara after his neshama leaves him. Continuing with Chassidic gems on the same pasuk in Parshas Tzav, Al Moikdo. The Moikdo means at the korban oilish has to be on the flame of the mizbeach. But Moikdo, the mem is spelled is written as a small mem in the word Moikdo. What's that all about? The Chassidic Torah says the reason you have a small mem in Moikdo is because it's to teach a person that he must hide his enthusiasm. It shouldn't be out where everybody could see his enthusiasm, because then he's doing it for people to see. He has to be able to reduce it, to reduce the flame, the slavus, the enthusiasm. He has to be able to reduce it so as people shouldn't see it, so that he's doing it only for Hashem. Continuing with Chassidic gems on Parshas Tzav. The pasuk says, Tzav es Aaron ves bonov, leimar zois teres ha'oila. Tzav, command Aaron and his children regarding the korban oila, etc., etc. That's the simple. Rashi translates the meaning of Tzav. Rashi says, Ein Tzav ela loshen zirus. Tzav means to be mezariz Aaron to do the following commandments. It's tzivui to be mezariz Aaron. It's a loshen zirus. That's the simple. The Chassidic Torah say on the words of Rashi that it's a loshen zirus. It's a language of zrizus. That a person has to be mizarez himself, that his loshen should be correct. A person has to be mizarez himself, that his tongue should be proper. He shouldn't speak lashon hara. He shouldn't offend people. The tongue itself, it's a loshen zirus. The tongue needs zirus. Continuing with Chassidic gems on Parshas Tzav, it says in Vayikra Ches, Vayidaber Hashem el Moshe Leimer, Kachas Aaron ve'ezbonav, take Aaron and the clothes and the oil and the parachatas and take all these things. The kol ha'edo hakel el pesach ha'el meid, and the entire congregation you should gather to the door, to the opening of the Ohel Moed. That's the simple. The Chassidic Torah are telling us, if somebody is a leader by Klal Yisrael, what does he have to do to have a following? What does he have to do that people should flock to him? And the Chassidic Torah Harav HaKodesh, Rebbe Nachum Mendel Mikotsk, says that this pasuk, according to the Chassidic Torah, is telling us the secret. The pasuk says, Moshe did Kashet Tzivu Hashem Oisai, as Hashem commanded him, Vatikoel Ho'edo El Pesach El Moed, and the assembly was gathered to the entrance of the tent of meeting. So the pasuk is saying that if somebody does Asher Tzivu Hashem Oisai, if somebody does what a God commands him, he follows, he observes, he learns, he does chesed. If somebody does that, then the result will be Vatikohel ha'edah, people will flock to him to hear his Divrei Torah. We want to make a sikum. We want to summarize just the hashkafas that come out of the Chassidic Torah. We spoke about the main elevation that a person can achieve is only through Torah. The main spiritual elevation can only come through Torah. We also spoke about the main elevation of Torah can only come out when it's done al mikdah, when it's done with enthusiasm, with fire. That can bring out this high elevation of Torah. We also learned that somebody who drives to elevate himself in Torah Sa'ila, he tries the hardest to show to elevate himself through Torah. He himself is considered like a korban olah. He is himself like a sacrifice to Hashem. We also spoke about that one who thinks that he already made it. He made it already. He doesn't have to learn Torah anymore. He doesn't have to do anything. If somebody thinks he made it, he has to moikdah, he has to burn such thoughts out, such possible thoughts, disqualified possible thoughts, because it's not true. A person should never think that he made it already, because there's a whole life's work that he has to do. We also spoke about the small mem in Moikdah, which tells us that we have to reduce our enthusiasm, that people should not be able to tell. It's between me and Hashem, what I do. It's not to advertise it to the street. You have to keep it to yourself. Moikdah, it's a small mem to tell us to reduce the moikdah, the burning, the showing it to the street. We also spoke about that the tongue of the person needs rizus, needs a certain form of zealousness. Guard your tongue. Guard it. The Rashi says Tzav is a lashon zirus. The lashon zirus means you got to be mezarez your lashon. You got to zealously guard your tongue, not to speak the wrong things, not to offend anybody. We also learned that the way to achieve success in people flocking to hear your divrei Torah is only if you do asher tzivu Hashem Osai. If you do what Hashem commanded, you fulfill all the words of the Shulchan Aruch and words of the Torah. Then vatikoel ha'edah, then the congregation will flock to you. This is from Reb Nachum Mendel Mikotsk.